Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is under fire. Canadians are fuming after he attended a Taylor Swift concert as anti-Israel protests swept the streets of Montreal on Friday night. Rioters set cars on fire, caused property damage, and burned a sculpture of Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
Police used tear gas to disperse the protesters and get the upper hand. Trudeau, meanwhile, was seen dancing to and enjoying the tunes of Taylor Swift's Shake It Off, Cruel Summer and more during the final leg of her Eras tour in Canada this weekend. Quebec Senator Leo Housakos voiced his concerns over social media, writing on X, "While Justin Trudeau is partying it up in Toronto, I was meeting with several members of the Jewish community of Montreal. Meanwhile, this is our hometown tonight," Housakos said, while posting videos of the riots. He went on that the pro-Hamas crowd, emboldened by Mr. Trudeau's pledge to arrest the Israeli PM, "Hope you had fun at the concert though, Justin."
Everyday Canadians also had harsh words for Trudeau. One wrote, "Trudeau is the one who needs to be arrested. Disgusting. We Canadians love to impeach him if possible. He's a spoiled brat. Not a word on the MSM. I hope he got a pretty friendship bracelet," referring to the bracelets that are often exchanged at Swift's concerts. I've never been to a Taylor Swift concert. So
sad, Robby, sad. I have never been, but I'm a bigger Taylor Swift fan than you are.
Oh,
so I'm probably going to defend Mr. Trudeau.
Well, go forth then. He's entitled to a night off, although it's never a good look for a politician when the streets are on fire and you're fiddling or etc.
Well, it is not a good look. The optics, as they say, are not great. And I don't want to minimize the violence or rioting that took place. But a persistent annoyance of mine in politics, regardless of the ideology of the politician that it is directed against, is a sort of concern with political theatre that has no real substantive effect. So Justin Trudeau was not in fact going to, ride to the barricades or man the water cannon or anything else during this trouble that broke out. The trouble that broke out, we should say, did result in 2 vehicles being set alight and 3 people being arrested. So violence is wrong. I also, this idea that Canada or Montreal was set aflame or falling apart, I'm somewhat skeptical of. In addition to that, I just think that people are allowed, even if they're politicians, to be human, to enjoy the arts and culture and music and Taylor Swift. And, the videos that I saw of him enjoying himself at the Taylor Swift concert were fine. And he was, exchanging his friendship bracelets and all the rest. And I think I have no particular problem with it.
It says, according to reporting from Fox News, so they were described as both pro-Palestinian and anti-NATO demonstrators.
Right, exactly.
Which is an interesting
combination.
Because in U.S. politics, it's the Democrats and liberals obviously extremely pro-NATO, and then I guess the left is left and right are converging on the idea that NATO expansion has been an important contributor to what's happened in Ukraine and Russia. The tying it to what this is Canada's vote to agree that the ICC should be able to arrest Netanyahu on the spot, which I have been critical of, even though I'm not a supporter of or defender of Netanyahu whatsoever. I think he should not be the leader of Israel anymore, frankly, although it's not my business. It's on Israel to decide that. I am more skeptical than you are of international world organizations or them being forces for good overall, or that we should be subjected to their whims. But people who are upset. People who are upset either way should have the right to protest. One of my criticisms of Justin Trudeau is that really my only substantive criticism of him, because I don't live in Canada and I don't pay all that much attention to Canadian politics, except when we take note of their DEI or wokeness extremism or something of that nature. But they did seem to take significant steps to discourage or even criminalize the kind of trucker protestings over the COVID vaccine mandates, over economic activity in favor of those protests. I believe they went after PayPal-type services to make it impossible to express your opinion on that subject. So I actually don't like the crackdown that has taken place there on what ought to be. They don't have the First Amendment, but what I think from a pro-liberal values perspective, you ought to allow protesting and free speech. you don't have to allow rioting, and in fact, rather than allowing it, the police should work to combat it with an appropriate response. There should not be property destruction or violence or that sort of thing, but you and I agree on that. So but sometimes politicians go too far and say that, it was rioting when it was just protected speech and people, deserve to protest.
Sure. And Trudeau, to be fair to him, did release a statement on social media. I believe the rioting was on the Friday, and he released a statement on the Saturday morning, condemning the protesting, condemning the rioting, I should say, and condemning the disorder and saying there was no place for that, as did various other people, including the mayor of Montreal. In relation to the International Criminal Court, I've been more internationalist in outlook than you generally, I think, Robby. I think that Canada is in line with the international community in its stance on that. I have no problem with it at all. I think that the evidence that Benjamin Netanyahu committed war crimes is absolutely clear as day, but he would have the right, if he chose, to journey to The Hague to defend himself from that. I expect that he will not be making any voluntary trips to anywhere where he might get arrested anytime soon. And, my heart isn't exactly bleeding for any curbing of his travel or vacation plans. But, Trudeau, I think, has...
No international Taylor Swift concerts for him.
No, he will not be following the Eras tour around. I also think Taylor Swift herself has become this weird sort of lightning rod, even while making only rather mild political statements.
She's really trying to stay out of it as much as possible.
And encouraging people to vote, which we all agree is a good idea. We're all in common ground there. Her Eras tour will be drawing to a close very soon, Robby. I'm sad about that. I didn't get to see her, but you don't seem so devastated.
No, I should say I do like her music fine. I don't go to a lot of concerts anyway. I liked Anti-Hero. Is that the name of the album?
Yeah, the song.
I like the song very much, and I don't change the radio when Taylor Swift comes on. I'm not a Swiftie, but she's a positive cultural force, and I do appreciate that she does try. She has generally liberal politics, I think, but she doesn't care that much. She doesn't purport to be some lecturing, hectoring expert on it, and mostly just tries to stay out of it, and that's fine.
I should say that on my relatively brief record in Rising, I have a history of controversial views on music, because I was on with our mutual friend Amber Duke one day and expressed my fondness for Bruce Springsteen, which sadly is not shared by Amber.
Oh, nor I.
So look, this is going to be from now on the pro-Springsteen, pro-Taylor Swift seat, and I shall defend those positions.
He is an American cultural icon, indeed. And you have the right to like him, even though I find his music very saccharine, I would say. That does it for us today on Rising. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere that you can find podcasts. And we will be having, blah, blah, blah. What did I say? We'll be back here tomorrow, and we can't wait to see you then. Bye-bye.